Welcome back, folks, to the Lights Ed Online Video Show. This episode of the show is brought to you by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com, baby. That's KeystoneTech.com. What's up,
Check
Greg?
them out. Hey, we're going to continue on with our discussion right now that we've had about putting on the different hats that are in the lighting business or the electrical distributorship. What do you have? So we had salespeople. What do we tell them to do?
Sell.
Sell.
Don't back down, man.
All right. So you got that. Now you also have inside staff. What about people that are in accounting or in invoicing or customer service or, what else? We got warehousing. What else can you name off? Anything that's not to do with outside selling that makes you run your business, right? There's a lot of different jobs that it can be. So many of you are at home right now, I'm guessing, because you don't necessarily need to be in the office to do some of the things you do if you have all the internet connectivity and everything that goes along with that. So if you have all of that, what can you do in your downtime? Two things, right? One is get better at understanding, we're talking lighting. It can be anything electrical. It can be pipe and wire. It can be all that. Understanding product. Even if your job is not to go out and sell it, the more value you can bring to your management or your owner of the company by coming back and saying, hey, I learned this over my time off, or I got better at understanding whatever it might be that you need to know more about in your business, so that you can then come back and show that you're more knowledgeable and you're more valuable to the company. So build your value. And you can do that by taking training courses, reading up on websites, listening to this podcast. There's all sorts of different things you can do to better yourself. And also think about processes. Like, what are the things? Write down everything you do in a day or type it up, whatever you want to do, and look at it and say, is there things I can be more efficient on? Come back with a proposal to your manager or your owner and say, hey, over this time I've been thinking about the different tasks that I do on a daily basis, and I think I could do this better and I could do it this way. That shows ownership. That shows leadership. That shows, people that are ultimately hiring you and keeping you hired, that you have the value and you should be maintained. In terms of our personal situation here at Premier Lighting, we're short-staffed right now, and learning some things as we do it. I'm kind of filling in other positions just because there's not as much going on right now, but trying to figure that out. And simple things like we have electricians that come in and pick up an order. This happened today. And they reference their PO number that we gave them to do the job. And we don't have that anywhere on our sales order. So they come in and say, hey, I'm here to pick up PO 10122. And I say, I don't know what that means. What's the customer
Yeah, but are
name?
these people supposed to do it like after they were laid off or before?
If
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because here's my point.
Yes. Okay.
And I hate to do this. And
Go for it.
Look, I think what you're talking about is the reactors.
Yes.
What should the reactors do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, I think what we should do in business right now is really go back to the old principle and remember something, that nothing happens until somebody sells something. Right?
Yep.
So for the reactors out there and like, the people that process orders that are used to having things come at them, those people that do those things are generally the kinds of people that are not self-starters. They're just, this is not prioritizing that these people are better than those people, or that it's just a personality type. And the personality type of the reactor is to react. So when nothing's happening, there's nothing to do. Right?
Sure.
So it's interesting to reflect that sometimes you have these battles in business between salespeople and reactors, between those who go out and make something happen and those that do something when something's been sold. And so it's time to think about if you can turn your reactors into actors. Or if you're a reactor, how can you become more proactive? Because when you're a reactor, you're very dispensable, especially in a time of crisis. All owners and stuff like that, they'll go and they'll do all the jobs that involve reacting. Because that's what I'm doing right now. That's what my skeleton staff that I have left is doing, is is people that are we want to hang on to more than we structure the priorities. It's not like one person's better than the other, but the reactors they don't make things happen. So what you want to do is really think about how you can be an actor, how you can become a better person, not a better person. It's not the right way to look at it, because you need reactors. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's like you have to look at your job in terms of its value. And a lot of times we value these reactors, we overvalue them versus the sales reps, which are oftentimes shunned because the reactors are doing so much work when there's action. But when the sales dry up, what do? We need to move forward. We need to act. And how do we act? What do we do to push things forward? I'm not sure, man. I think it's a tough time for people in accounting, for people in, warehousing jobs that have been laid off and stuff like that. It's tough, man. This is a really tough time. And can they improve themselves within the lighting industry? Well, I think you ask yourself, how important is lighting to your career? That's an interesting question. Like, reflect on that. How important is it that I'm in the lighting industry? And if the answer to that question is not that important, then maybe it's time to really think about your career. Maybe it's time to think about whether it's a good opportunity to really take stock on something like that. Because these types of crises hopefully come once in a lifetime, right?
Right.
But it gives us a chance to think. And if lighting is not really a big part of what you do, what is it that you do? What is it that you're good at? Are you good at handling? I'll tell you this, a lot of the guys that are out selling would never be able to handle the volume of orders that come in from your website or from Amazon or whatever, and dealing with that paperwork and dealing with those orders and organizing that warehouse and all that sort of stuff, right? Is that what you're good at? Ask yourself, what is it that I do that I'm actually really good at? And if you can get better at that, then you can get paid more, right? Whether that's a lighting business thing or not. And maybe I'm going off the nut here on the Light That Online video show, but not everything is about lighting. If you want to improve yourself, it's about knowing what it is that you actually do that's valuable. And now's a good time to think about that. And if you are been laid off, if you're a warehouse person or an accounting person or whatever, and everyone's telling you to take lighting training, maybe it's time to think about getting that bookkeeper's license. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's time to register for that paralegal course that you've been thinking about for a while. Or maybe it's time to look at not lighting training, but more warehouse training. Or do you understand what I'm getting at here, Greg?
I do, yeah. I always keep it lighting because that's what I do, but you're totally right. Like, at the end of the day, it's about yourself, and you need to reflect on that. And what are you good at? What do you want to be better at? And like you said, if lighting is where it's at, make yourself more valuable specifically to lighting in your job. Mm-hmm. If that's not the big concern, then make yourself more valuable at the task or the job that you want to have the value with.
Yeah, like if you're an order desk guy in customer service, inside sales, you might be very good at lighting. And that might, like, you may know a lot about light bulbs and ballasts and tubes and fixtures and stuff like that. And yeah, go maybe dive into some IES courses or some LS1, LS2, this kind of stuff. There's a lot of different online training you can do. But I think if you ask yourself, what is it that you actually do that's valuable? And if it's an accounting course, if you're like, I really do a lot of the accounting work, well, then maybe you're underpaid because you don't have a designation. Sure. If you were like a licensed bookkeeper, I know that's a thing in Ontario. I don't know if it's a thing in Minnesota, but I'm pretty sure it probably is. There's accountants and bookkeepers, and there's like a bookkeeping association that you can become licensed by. Maybe it's time to think about that. Or maybe if it's, maybe paralegal or one of these other designations that are not full-blown university things that you can do at night. I know there's all sorts of different courses on warehousing. If you're that inside guy and you're working on a lot of projects, maybe it's time to look into the energy manager course or different things like that are not specifically lighting, because maybe your skill set is not a lighting skill set. Maybe it's something that lighting has in it that's a little bit different. So that would be my advice. And, I would say that what do I know, again, is always what I like to say. But I think it's time to reflect and think about what it is that you actually do that's valuable and then pursue that. This has been the Lights Head Online Video Show. It's sponsored by Keystone Technologies. I know what they're good at. Greg knows what they're good at, and you find them by going to KeystoneTech.com. That's KeystoneTech.com. That's KeystoneTech.com. I know what I'm good at.